Everyone, that celebration of being Filipino does not end here today. We gotta carry that everywhere we go. We gotta carry that throughout the year.
Spark, Connect, and Empower is a movement born in San Francisco to engender love and passion for Filipino heritage and culture among Filipino Americans. In the process, connecting them and empowering them as individuals and collectively as a community.
Pinoy ako! Proud ako! Pinoy ako! Proud ako! Pinoy ako! Proud ako! Pinoy ako! Proud ako! Spark, connect, empower, Pinoy 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 ako! Listen, Phil, I'm to the next generation. Millennials, you are the future of the nation. Embrace your past, be proud of who you are. Spark, ignite your pride and curiosity. Connect with one another and with your ancestry. Empower, be the forefront of the community. Be proud of who you are. Pinay ako, taas noo, ang mamalaki ko sa buong mundo. Pinoy ako, at proud ako. I'm proud to be who I am. I'm proud to be a Pinoy. Pinoy ako, proud ako. Be proud of your race and your identity. Be vanguards of your culture and heritage you'll see. Come and belong, stand tall, then you'll know. It's fun, oh so fun to be a Filipino. But diverse, we are many but united. Be proud, shout it out and show we're not divided. Behold the Filipino spirit that's in you. Pinay ako, taas noo, mamalaki ko sa buong mundo. Pinoy ako, at proud ako. I'm proud to be who I am. I'm proud to be a Pinoy. Pinoy ako, proud ako. All it takes is a spark to connect and empower nation building beyond the borders. Come and celebrate who we are. Pinay ako, taas noo, pagmamalaki ko sa buong mundo. Pinoy ako, at proud ako. I'm proud to be who I am. Yes! Pinay ako, taas noo, pagmamalaki ko sa buong mundo. Pinoy ako, at proud ako. I'm proud to be who I am. I'm proud to be a Pinoy. I'm proud to be who I am. Yes, I'm proud. I'm proud to be who I am. So proud. I'm proud to be who I am. I'm proud to be a Pinoy. Pinoy ako! Proud ako!
Magandang araw po, kabayang Pilipino, saan man kayo naroroon. Ako po si Henry Bensurto, ang inyong Consul General dito sa San Francisco at Pacific Northwest. Welcome po muli dito sa ating programang TNC or Tanong ni CONGEN. Isang platform po during this pandemic na kung saan ang inyong mga tanong po ay ating itatanong sa ating mga opisyal ng gobyerno. At for today po, we're very grateful that we have our consul from our Consulate General in Honolulu, Hawaii, to come here and be able to give us information, mga impormasyong importante po sa atin, especially for Filipinos po na nandyan sa Honolulu or sa Hawaii. So walang iba po ang ating consul na panauhin today, ay walang iba kundi si Consul Grace Bulos. Magandang araw po, Consul Grace.
Magandang araw po, Consul General Henry Bensurto. It's nice to be on Tanong ni CONGEN. I'm pleased to represent the Philippine Consulate General, and I'd like to extend the greetings of my boss, Consul General Joselito Jimeno, to all our listeners and viewers.
Ay, oo nga po. At ano rin po, our warmest regard to Consul General Joey Jimeno po. Ano?
Makakarating po, sir.
Opo, and we're very grateful na pinahiram nyo kayo. So, I mentioned, Consul Grace, if you don't mind, I'll start the question po sa inyo.
Yes, sir.
Consul Grace, I think ang unang tanong ng mga tao tell us something about yourself. Sino po ba si Consul Grace Bulos?
Okay, parang showbiz lang.
Okay.
Grace Bulos. I have been with the Department of Foreign Affairs since 1998. So I guess that shows my age. More than 20 years in the department already. I am now consul at the Philippine Consulate General in Honolulu. This is my second posting. I was previously assigned to the Philippine Embassy in Australia, in Canberra, Australia. In the Home Office, I worked for the Office of European Affairs, the Office of the Secretary, and the Office of Policy, Planning, and Coordination.
Salamat, Consul Grace. So si Consul Grace po isa obviously sa career diplomat po, who has been with us, and she has a lot of experience and skills po, no, that can help us in terms of consular questions, because as she mentioned, she has been in Canberra already. So salamat po.
Tama po, sir, kasi yung hinahandle ko po talaga sa konsulado natin sa Honolulu is really the consular section and assistance to national services.
Wow, talagang target po talaga. Exacto. So, talagang we have an expert po talaga for today who can really expertly answer your questions, especially dyan po sa ating mga kababayang Pilipino na nasa Hawaii. In fact, I was about to ask po, Consul Grace, I mentioned Hawaii, but your jurisdiction extends beyond Hawaii. Tama po ba yun?
Opo, sir. Tama po yan, sir. So aside from yung state po ng Hawaii, the consulate has jurisdiction over American Samoa.
So kasama po sa jurisdiction yung American Samoa, no? So altogether po ba, ilang Pilipino po ba ang nasasakupan ninyo sa inyong area of jurisdiction?
Rough estimate po, sir, mga 300,000.
Wow! Ang laki. Okay. So medyo nagulat ako kasi Hawaii, no? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, compared sa California, napakaliit ng Hawaii, no? And yet, compact as an island, you have that number of Filipinos.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
The second highest number of Filipinos in the U.S. are in Hawaii. After California, after the West Coast, we have the second highest number of Filipinos here. And just in the state itself, the Filipino community has the second highest number in terms of ethnic communities.
Wow. So I think that makes your post a very important post. No? And I understand, not just because of the Filipinos there, but also because that's the headquarters of the Pacific Command po. No? Tama po ba?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so kaya medyo yung responsibilidad ng ating konsulado dyan, medyo napakabigat pala. So, Consul, ito pong mga Pilipino, in terms of distribution, saan po sila concentrated? Diyan po ba sila concentrated sa Oahu or some other place?
Yes, sir. Ang concentration po, pinakamalaking bilang ng mga Pilipino po ay nandito po sa isla ng Oahu, where Honolulu is located. But we also have others in the other islands. But the biggest number is here.
Sa Oahu po, ano? Okay. And kumusta naman po ang ating mga kababayan? Well, kumusta rin po sa konsulado, obviously, no? And ano po yung impact ng COVID sa inyo dyan, sa ating mga kababayan? We're praying that you're all safe, no? And well.
Yes.
Pero
This is a prayer for everybody, but that everybody is safe and that nobody gets sick during these times. No? So the number of cases has been a concern for the consulate, although Hawaii has been doing pretty well in managing the pandemic. Kaya lang po yung bilang ng namataas in terms of rate of infection, pumapangalawa po ang Filipino community.
oh,
22% of cases belong to the Filipino community, so that's close to almost 2,000 cases. And then, but in terms of deaths, naunahan po tayo nung Japanese community. In terms of deaths, number 3 po yung Filipino community.
More or less po, being number 3 doon sa list, no? Mga ilang, ano po yung numero kaya na pinag-uusapan natin in terms of yung na talagang namatayan versus doon sa naka-recover?
Yung actual na namatay po, ang latest statistics po ng DOH, this was as of last Friday, October 23, 41 ang namamatay na sa Filipino community. 1,976 ang nagkaroon na po ng infection. We don't have the number of the recoveries. In terms of total, and I will go to my statistics.
Sige po, Consul.
Total number of COVID cases, 14,834 as of today. And then those released from isolation, and this is total number already, 11,605. In terms of deaths, 213. So that gives us roughly mga 3,000 more or less na active cases, which I think we're still doing pretty well compared to the mainland US, and that's the blessing of Hawaii being isolated.
Oo nga po, no? Well, of course, those numbers are not just numbers, but they're real people, no? So we empathize po in terms of those affected. But just the same po, katulad ng paliwanag nyo, in relative terms, compared with others, it's a good number in the sense at least na ma-manage po, no? So
other side of the coin naman po, sir, we also want to keep the numbers low because isla nga lang po kami. So pag dumami yan, mo-overwhelm po yung ating healthcare system dito.
Oo nga po, tama. And on the question of resources po, no, I know this is not just about numbers of people affected, but also the resources available from the economic perspective. And you mentioned island po kayo. What is the impact po in terms of the economics ng pandemic sa inyo? Well, in the first place, do you have a lockdown in Hawaii po ba? Are people coming from the outside? Can they freely enter Hawaii and get out also freely? Yan po ba yung sitwasyon?
Sir, yung sa economic side naman po ng pandemic, of course, malaki po yung naging epekto nito sa ekonomiya ng Hawaii. Lalong-lalo na po dahil Hawaii is heavily reliant on tourism. That's the main driver of economics here. So everything, mostly everything is pegged on tourism. So nakasalalay dyan yung mga hotels, restaurants, yung mga sightseeing tourist attractions. And a lot of our kababayans are employed in those industries. So tourism-related industries, retail. Hawaii went on a stay-at-home order noong March, and it was quite long. That was also the time when the consulate also closed temporarily, but we remained open for emergency cases. We were always making ourselves available for emergency cases. So we reopened on May 4. We have stayed open even when Hawaii announced its second stay-at-home order last August 27. Another 2 weeks, well, naging extended siya, so naging 1 month na stay at home. So for half that period, we were temporarily closed for in-person services, but we remained open for those needing emergency assistance.
Okay. So, liwanagin ko lang po yun, Consul. So, in effect po, yung pagsabi nyo na nag-close, it's actually limited yung closure na yan sa in-person.
In person, yes, sir.
Tama po. But all the while, even while you are closed sa in-person, you continue to operate. Tama po ba?
Opo, sir.
And,
And there were some services which continued kasi by mail na lang po sila.
Yes, and that's very understandable. I think other Philippine posts here in the mainland are situated very much similar to yours, no? So all other posts, I think, encourage yung mailed-in applications and discourage the walk-in application. So, ngayon po ba tuloy-tuloy yung operations ninyo even while you have the pandemic there?
Yes, sir. Tuloy-tuloy po yung aming operations. So we have five main services, passports, and this is done by appointment. We don't accept walk-ins. Lahat po dapat talaga by appointment. The other in-person service is our notarials. This is also by appointment. Visa and civil registry is done by email first. We vet the applications first by email, and then if everything is in order, we request the applicant to send in or mail in their original applications and supporting documents, and then we just mail the signed civil registry report or the signed visa back to them. For dual citizenship, and this is, I think, what has put a lot of our posts on the spot kasi we have experienced a surge in dual citizenship applications. We request them to also email, and we vet the application first. Once everything is in order, we ask them to mail in the original applications and supporting documents. And then the only time that they do come into the consulate is for the oath taking. So isang beses na lang po sila pupunta.
Okay. Himay-himayin ko lang po, Consul. So nahahati po yung serbisyo ninyo ng Consul doon sa mga in-person and by mail. As much as possible, if it can be done by mail, you encourage people to do that. And then meron po kayong mongrel or hybrid, no, na yung initial phase should be done by mail or by email, and then you vet on it, and then in person.
Yes,
So
sir.
sa dual po ninyo ginagawa.
Yes, sir.
Essentially yun. So mapunta po muna ako dun sa in person, which is sabi niyo po yung passport application,
Yes,
tsaka
sir.
doon po sa SPA, no?
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned na by appointment po. Tama po, no?
Yes, sir.
And kaklaruhin lang po, hindi kayo tumatanggap ng walk-in applicants.
Hindi po, sir.
And there's a reason for that. It's the same reason that all Philippine posts in the mainland also, it's part of managing and preventing the spread of the virus po. No?
We want to keep people safe.
Yes, definitely, and not just your staff and officers, but the public, di po ba?
Yes.
Opo, and so hindi naman po selfish yun. At the end of the day, the motive behind that is sabi nyo nga po, is really to keep people safe.
Yes.
So pag gumawa po sa inyo ng appointment, paano po sila gagawa ng appointment? Is there a website, or is there an account, Facebook, however it is, where they should or where they can log in and make the appointment. Paano po yun? Pwede niyo pong ipaliwanag sa ating consul?
Yes, sir. Very simple lang po. All they have to do is go to the Philippine Consulate General website in Honolulu, and the website address is honolulucpg.dfa.gov.ph. Have to scroll down a little bit dun sa main sa homepage, and they will find there an icon called QLess. They just click on that, and then they just enter the details and follow the prompt.
Okay. So, Kabayang Pilipino, narinig niyo po si Consul Grace. So, you have to go to their website and hopefully we can post po, no? Ipopost natin yung inyong website dito sa ating TNC so that people can take note of that. So, doon daw po kayo papasok. So, and then that's where they can make their appointment. Tama po, no, Consul?
Opo, tama po yan.
Okay. And alam niyo po yung medyo sensitive question to, but I think it will be good if we're able to clarify. Ang isa pong issue dito, mahaba na yung pila, no? Yung appointment. And this is very true for San Francisco, and I understand it's also true for the other Philippine post here in the mainland. I wanted to ask if that is also your situation in Honolulu or in Hawaii in terms of the queue for passport applications. In fact, I was about to ask, yung pong application, anong month na po next year open? Kasi sa amin po, lumagpas na kami ng March. Sa inyo po, ano na po?
Sa amin naman po, December.
Okay.
Hanggang December pa lang po yung binubuksan namin. We have to make adjustments kasi because we are right now in the process of transferring to a new building. Kahit mga kababayan po natin sa Honolulu, sa Hawaii, and even those who may be coming from the mainland, if you decide to visit us here in Hawaii, please take note that the Philippine Consulate General will be closed from November 2 to November 13 because we are all transferring to our new Consular Annex building. It's still in the same compound. It's just next door, a few meters away lang. We're all transferring there because the current building, the Chancery, is going to be renovated naman po.
Oh, okay. You're not permanently closing it. You're closing it for a reason. And the reason is dahil aayusin po, no? I think that's good news po. So finally, you're going to construct.
After 1 year na construction.
Yeah, well, that's well, you have to start, no? Kasi I understand po yung inyong konsulado diyan used to be, is it correct po? Correct me if I'm wrong. Used to be a residence, also converted into an office.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so it's
we have to renovate the old building to make it more fit for purpose. Opisina po siya talaga. Make it look more like an office than a residence. So all our diplomacy services, so yung aming economic, cultural section will remain in the old building, and all our frontline services will be in the Consular Annex building. Mas maganda rin po yung layout ng bagong building. May mga windows, and then people will be able to social distance more. There are safety panels between the clients and our personnel. So hopefully it will be a safer environment for everybody.
Good. So just to clarify po, beginning November 2, for those people who have an appointment after November.
Wala pong kaming inopen na appointment for those dates.
For these dates po, between November 2 to November 16, 13. Completely closed po because of the movement, no? To allow people to carry, magbuhat, at ilipat doon. No? I was about to make a joke, magbuhat ng sariling bangkaan.
Actually, sir, ang pinaka-importante po doon sa transfer, yung ensuring the connectivity.
Yeah.
So we rely a lot on technology. So yung aming appointment system, has to be in place, yung ating mga internal systems also have to be in place, and that takes a while. So we have to make sure that the connectivity is there. Otherwise, hindi po kami aandar.
Correct, correct. So during those period po, while the migration, and by migration, we're not just talking of the people or the equipment or the material things, but as you mentioned, yung technology, yung connectivity, you know.
Yes,
So
sir.
that migration obviously will take some time, and this is the window by which that migration is going to happen. So during that period, mga kababayan po natin dyan sa Hawaii, please take note that during that period, close po yung ating embahada at consulado for consular services. But for those who will be able to make an appointment after the 13th, no? 13th, tama.
16 po, sir, open na kami. Actually, we opened the appointments already, and they are already full up to the first week of September.
Po. And for those who have those appointments, hindi na po doon sa lumang building kayo tutuloy, doon po katulad ng nabanggit ni Consul Grace sa annex building. Okay. So ito po yung sistema for the appointment. Mapunta po ako doon sa by mail and email, and ang mga serbisyong mai-impact nito or will be yung ano po, no, yung mga registration of birth ninyo, and then
Birth, marriage. Yes.
right, and they don't have to come to your consulate, no, to file, correct?
No, not anymore.
And this can be done by mail, as you mentioned. And saan po nila ipapadala ito? Anong address po? Or anong email address po rin to send you those documents?
Yung email for vetting is honolulu.pcg@dfa.gov.ph. So medyo nakakalito kasi halos pareho ng website.
We'll try to post po yung inyong email and your website. So take note po mga kabayang Pilipino. Tandaan po ninyo, ilista po ninyo. Kung may papel po kayo para matandaan po natin, no? And
Google.
Google
has the answer to everything.
Right, and even in the Facebook, Honolulu, the embassy and the consulate there, they're pretty active, no? So yan po. Pero kung hindi po kayo pupunta dyan sa website na yan, hindi po kayo makakagawa ng appointment, hindi rin ninyo mapapadala yung inyong mga dokumento, either by email or by mail. At the same time po, I suppose yung mga tao pong tatawag sa inyo, and I think it has become parang masanay po yung tao na especially for the older generation, no, to
Gusto nilang may kausap po.
ano naman po yung telepono ninyo na pwede po nilang tawagan?
Okay, yung aming landline po is 1-808-595-6316 up to 19.
Okay. So yan po yung mga teleponong pwedeng tawagan, and Consul Grace, maitanong ko lang because we're experiencing it here, and I understand also for other posts, no? May mga nagrereklamo na for all of us, no? Yung mga concern nila, yung hindi sila makapasok sa telepono, either it's busy or ang tagal nila naghihintay. Ganyan rin po ba ang sitwasyon ninyo diyan sa Hawaii?
Actually, in terms po sa telephone calls, lahat naman po nasasagot namin, I think.
Good.
Congratulations. Po namin nasasagot kaagad, and they leave a voicemail. We do at the end of the day, because our frontline hours are from 9 o'clock to 3 p.m. So that's the time when our frontliners are attending to in-person clients. At the end of the day, come 3 o'clock, they go back to their phones, at pag nakita nila na merong voicemail, they make it a point to return the calls of all those clients who left messages. Tapos din po sa email, sir. Although sometimes it takes a while kasi ang dami po talagang nag-i-email sa amin, Hinihingi din po namin yung paumanhin at pasensya po ng publiko. Limitado po yung mga resources namin. So, pasensya na po kung minsan po ay natatagalan yung aming pagsagot. Pero we will answer each and every question, each and every email and call.
Salamat po. So at least doon po sa ating mga nakikinig, if sometimes you have some difficulties, narinig po natin si Consul Grace na humihingi ng pamanin, but you can be certain in terms of the effort that they put into this to make sure that they're able to come back to you, if not immediately, at least come back to you at the soonest time possible when the situation and their load allows them. But definitely po, the consulate, as Consul Grace, they have you in mind, and sabi niya walang makakaligtas. So good to know po, and also we appreciate that we're able to understand also your situation, and therefore hopefully it would create a better understanding between your clients and the consulate, no? So they have all the best intentions to be of help po sa inyo mga kababayan. So doon po sa mapunta po ako doon sa dual citizen, and I suppose the situation right now is because of the restriction in the Philippines in terms of who can enter, and essentially yung mga foreign passport holders cannot enter generally, and including balikbayan po, no? So many of them have migrated to reacquiring their Philippine citizenship. Is that also the case in Hawaii?
Yes, sir. That's also the case here. We have experienced a surge in dual citizenship applications, and same thing for our post in the mainland. So much so, the numbers have been so high, and we have been affected by state stay-at-home orders, limitation in gatherings. Una po, sabi nila, limit gatherings to 10 hanggang naging limit gatherings to 5. So hindi rin po kami makapag oath-taking ng maramihan. It's a demand and supply issue. Mas malaki po yung demand versus dun sa capacity namin na iproseso lahat ng mga applications. So we have had to temporarily suspend our dual citizenship services, because if tuloy-tuloy pong bukas yan, yung mga nagpapadala po ng applications, kumbaga hahaba lang po yung pila. So inuna po namin yung aming backlog. That's what we're addressing right now. And once we are at a good enough number, we will start accepting applications again.
Salamat po, Consul. And as you mentioned, it's really a question of capacity and demand. No? Sana yung capacity niyo in terms of resources remained constant, no? But the demand has increased manifold. And so ang isang consequence po nun is hahaba talaga yung pila. It will take some time. And as you mentioned, hindi naman po yun kagustuhan ng konsulado ng Hawaii, but this is a reality that we all have to adjust and do our best. So katulad po ng nasabi Consul, she's saying this kasi para humaba naman po yung pasensya natin sometimes because really the new normal is abnormal and extraordinary.
And I think it's also important for applicants to understand that one question that I have received is, mandatory daw ba ang pagiging dual? Or is it true that you cannot go back to the Philippines unless you're dual? And I always say, citizenship is a very important and serious matter. It is not something that you should be taken lightly. It's something that should be valued. So if it's something that they wish to obtain only out of convenience, maybe think about it a little bit more deeply about the intention on why you want to become a Filipino citizen. If it's something that's para pong kasal yan, sir. Lagi ko sinasabi yan sa aking mga oath-takers. Para kayong kinakasal muli sa iyong bansa. So kung nagpakasal ka out of convenience, it's something that's bound to fail. So same thing for citizenship. You should do it because of love of country and not because of convenience.
Thank you, Consul Grace. Thank you for that reminder. It's good to be reminded every now and then why we do things, no? And come back to the question of purpose. No? And I think I completely agree with you, Po, that we have to always think about why we do things. No? And there is a distinction between doing it out of convenience, as you mentioned, and but for you and for us, yung pong issue of citizenship is obviously much deeper than that. So thank you po for that reminder, and hopefully that should remind our viewers po, Filipino kababayan, of the importance. Consul Grace,
I'm still here. I don't know what happened.
I was about to ask, napaaga ho yata yung ating Halloween. biglang. I think ito po yung sinasabi kanina ni Consul na yung connectivity, no? And,
yes, nag-fail na siya.
So it's an important issue nowadays. Because when we talk of connectivity, I think you can refer to that commercial. No? You hear or you see something, a little bit of that, but instead of promoting understanding, it created more misunderstanding because the platform is not correct, no? in terms of the digital connectivity. So that's why you see Consul Grace kanina was emphasizing. And I think she really gave importance and emphasized when they're during that period of migration that they're able to do the connectivity. And I suppose this happened because of also sometimes beyond our control. No? Like right now, maybe there's something wrong with the Wi-Fi. But I'm not a technical expert. But yan po. So para sa mga nakikinig po sa atin, bear with us. Hindi nyo po nakikita yung ating consul right now in your screen, but be assured na nandiyan po siya. No? So, Consul, just to continue, and I think...
I don't know how to do this.
That's okay.
But I am here.
Yeah, well, we're assured that we hear you, and maybe Consul, if because we're towards the end po, maybe we can ask you po, what is your message, and do you have any final thoughts that you want to convey to our listeners, especially to your constituents dyan po sa Hawaii? Please go ahead.
Sir, before I go on with the final message, I'd also like to flag that aside from our consular services, we will also be resuming our overseas voter registration.
Oh, yes.
We had to suspend that starting in March because the space in the chancery is really not enough, and actually, the overseas voter table was in my room. Ganun kaliit yung aming konsulado. So we had to suspend it for everybody's safety. But once we move to the new building, we will resume overseas voter registration. So for those who wish to participate in the next elections, they'd have to be an overseas registered voter. Come November 16, open na po yan. By appointment din po yung gagawin namin para alam po namin kung ilang tao yung pupunta kada araw vis-a-vis yung total number ng mga tao for our other services.
Oh, thank you, Consul Grace, for bringing that up. It's very important, in fact. So as you mentioned, November 16, tama po ba? You will start registering, and you, for those who would like to register, will have to do this by appointment. So they have to go to your website pa rin,
Yes,
no?
sir. Opo, yun pa rin po.
And there should be a a different or a separate queue for voter registration. Tama po ba, Consul?
Yes, sir. Tama po yun. So we will have a different queue for those who want to register as overseas voters.
Ano po yung may mga dapat po ba silang dalhin to register?
Yes, sir. Ang requirement po, number 1, personal appearance. Secondly, for those who are migrants, yung kanilang valid Philippine passport. For those who are dual citizens, yung kanilang dual citizenship documents. For our seafarers, yung kanila pong valid seaman's book.
Okay. So, kabayan, yan po yung mga requirements na nabanggit ni Consul Grace if you want to register as an overseas voter. No? And huwag niyo pong kalimutan, very important, because in 2 years' time, all of us will go back to the voting stations to cast our ballot in terms of choosing our national leadership now in terms of the president, the vice president, and those other national positions. So if you want to participate, and we highly encourage you po, and I suppose Consul Grace is making that appeal to your constituents there in Hawaii na hindi pa nakakapag-rehistro, this is your time to register and be able to participate in a very important national electoral exercise. So, okay, Consul Grace, thank you for that. Are there any other things that we may have overlooked or you want to apprise or inform our listeners po?
Hindi na po ito consular, pero ang aming economic and cultural section, gusto po nila i-flag. Meron silang mga online events. So November 6, focus group discussion on importing products from the Philippines. It's in partnership with One Export. November 18, they have a webinar on understanding Hawaii Foreign Trade Zone in partnership with the Filipino Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii. And then December 7, Savor Filipino Summit Hawaii Edition in partnership with the Filipino Food Movement. For our assistance to national section, we are collaborating with the Commission on Filipinos Overseas for the Ugnayan sa Hawaii. And this will take place on November 21 in Hawaii and November 22 na po siya sa Pilipinas. So we will have details about these events on our Facebook page and our website.
And we'll post it also here, no?
Yes, sir.
So, yan po mga kabayan. So, as you can see, yung ating pong konsulado at embahada sa Hawaii, they're very much active even with this pandemic, and these are just a few of the digital exercises or digital activities that they're doing virtually. So, and all of this ba are they open to the public po?
Yes, sir. They are open to the public. We will post a link on our website and Facebook page, and they can register through those links.
Thank you very much for that, Consul Grace. So, okay, so I think we're very grateful. Marami na rin tayong na-cover, no? So now we have come to the tail end. No? Are there any other final thoughts, Consul, that you want to impart? Any final words po, Consul Grace?
Okay. Thank you, sir. Pinapaabot po ng aming mahal na Consul General Joselito Jimeno na his concern sa ating Filipino community. We are always monitoring developments, and we will always be here ready to serve our constituents, even in this new normal. There may be challenges ahead, but these factors do not deter us. On the contrary, we are strengthened in our resolve to continue serving as best as we can. So we pray for everybody's safety. Hawaii is slowly reopening. We are now on tier 2 of Honolulu's reopening plan. It's a time na we should not let our guard down. Continue practicing the health and safety protocols, and rest assured that whatever assistance our kababayans need, nandito lang po kami para tumulong at magsilbi.
Wow. Thank you, Consul Grace. And also thank you to Consul General Jimeno, for that message. And hopefully it will resonate, and it will reach as many people that are your constituents. And I think it's very important that you're able to put this message out so that you will be understood. We including us, would be understood by our constituents, by your constituents, by the general public. And so
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for this opportunity to be on Tanong ni Congen, and it was nice to see you again. Thank you for the partnership. We're all in this boat together. So we look forward to closely cooperating with San Francisco PCG and all the rest of our posts in the United States. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you, Consul, for that very warm concern, and greetings. We too in San Francisco, and this is true for all the U.S. posts. I think one good thing about this pandemic now is it has brought us closer. It's a real paradox in the sense that it has pushed us back in the small confines of our offices and homes, but at the same time, has given us now the opportunity to reach out to our colleagues, to our friends, and with this technology, we're able to overcome space and time. So for that, we're most grateful to you, Consul Grace, and continue to be safe. And to Consul General Jimeno, we are with you. As you mentioned, we have this partnership, and a real partnership and a real collaboration, where we are able to help each other, and we're most grateful to be also of service to you, and likewise with Honolulu extending its help to us anytime we ask for it as well. So thank you for that. Please be safe, continue to be safe, and for our listeners, I just want to take note also that we are also collaborating with Hawaii in terms of sparking that love and passion among Filipinos, Filipino Americans, about our heritage and culture, and in terms also of connecting all of us with our culture, with the people back home, with our communities, and also working together towards that empowerment of all Filipinos, wherever they may be, individually and also collectively. So in that context of sparking that love and passion, connecting us, empowering us, we'd like to keep on repeating and saying po, Pinay ako, taas noo, Pinoy ako, proud ako. Mabuhay po kayo, mabuhay po ang Honolulu.
Maraming beses na kitang nilayasan, iniwanan at ibang pinuntahan. Parang babaeng ang hirap talagang malimutan. Ikaw lamang ang aking laging pinabalikan. Manila, I keep coming back to Manila. Simply
Our online celebration commemorates the 122nd anniversary of the proclamation of Philippine independence. I know, Dom, we are still in a pandemic and times are really tough right now, but that's not stopping us from celebrating our Filipino history, our culture, and our pride. And you know, tonight is the night to also honor the men and women who have really sacrificed so much amid the pandemic, our frontliners.
Hinahanap kita Manila, ang ingay mong kay sarap sa tenga, mga jeep
Mabuhay!
mong naglilipat,
And all for a toast.
mga babae mong nagagandahan. Take me back in your arms, Manila, and promise me you'll never let go. Promise me you'll never let go. Manila, Manila, I keep coming back to Manila. Simply ain't no place like Manila. Manila, I'm coming home.
That was a phenomenal performance.
Good morning there in Manila.
Hi, Sir Henry. Kamusta po kayo? We are okay here, and we're enjoying. We enjoyed your reception, and then we also want to congratulate you for your celebration of the 122nd Philippine Independence Day anniversary.
And promise me you'll never let go. Promise me you'll never.
Ryan Kayabyab and the Ryan Kayabyab Singers, thank you very much.
Now, to cap our program, we wish to leave you with a video prepared by the Philippine Consulate General in San Francisco to honor Filipino frontliners all over the world.
Mabuhay po kayo.
From the bottom of our hearts, thank you very much po, and have a good night or have a good morning. Thank you. Good night. Pinoy ako, proud ako.